Aren't you tired of those same old, villainous stories, where her engagement gets broken and she turns evil for revenge? Yeah, well, this isn't one of them. Because when the second Prince Kyle publicly dumps Scarlet Elvandimian in the middle of a royal ball, she doesn't cry, or faint, or curse the heavens. She simply decides to punch someone. It all starts at a dazzling ballroom. The nobles are whispering, and Scarlet's fiancé, or should we say ex-fiancé, Kyle, the ever-arrogant second prince, suddenly announces that he's breaking off their engagement. Why? Because he's in love with Terranetsa, a so-called pure-hearted girl from the Hopkins barony. The crowd erupts in applause. All of them Kyle's boot-licking supporters, of course. Terranetsa, glowing with fake innocence, swears she'll love Kyle forever and be the best couple in the world. Kyle takes that as his cue to start publicly humiliating Scarlet, calling her dull, cold, and villainous. Scarlet tries to keep her composure, calmly reminding him that their engagement was arranged by the royal family before they were even born. But logic doesn't work on this idiot. Kyle accuses her of bullying Terranetsa out of jealousy. Terranetsa smirks, pretending to be an innocent flower, while Scarlet insists she's never even met the girl before tonight. But Kyle twists her words, claiming Scarlet doesn't see people of lower birth. After all, she's from a ducal house, and Terranetsa's just a baron's daughter. The nobles start gossiping like vultures, and Kyle demands that Scarlet confess her crimes. Scarlet, ever the lady, simply tells him to make his own judgment. She'll accept the annulment. But Kyle keeps going, piling on insult after insult, until even Terranetsa calls Scarlet an idiot. That's when Scarlet's patience finally snaps. She straightens her back, looks Kyle dead in the eye, and asks for one last wish before their engagement ends. Kyle, dripping with condescension, assumes she wants jewelry or money. He's wrong. Scarlet clenches her fist, takes a step forward, and demands permission to punch Terranetsa square in the face. Before the prince can react, BM, her fist connects, sending the pure-hearted Terranetsa flying across the ballroom. Gasps echo through the hall. Scarlet mutters that she's simply releasing years of pent-up rage. But how did it come to this? Cue the flashback. Years earlier, little Scarlet was already famous, or infamous, for her temper. One day, her brother Leonardo scolded her for punching a noble boy from House Alexia. But Scarlet argued that the boy deserved it. He was bullying a commoner. Leonardo reminded her that when he arrived, she was covered in blood and grinning ear to ear. Scarlet denied enjoying it, but Leonardo warned her to control her anger and start acting like a lady. After all, her coming-of-age ceremony was just around the corner. At that ceremony, Scarlet was minding her own business when Kyle, the ever-brilliant second prince, approached her. She politely greeted him with proper decorum, which apparently offended him. He called her stupid for being formal and demanded that she serve him. That's right, serve him. Scarlet nearly lost it right then and there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the fateful night she met the man who'd one day ruin her engagement announcement and her appetite for noble men. Years pass. Scarlet turns 15 and enters the Royal Academy. And guess who's still tormenting her? Kyle. Her father had instructed her to assist the prince at school. But Kyle took that as permission to treat her like his personal servant. One day, after class, Scarlet's friends invite her to dine with them. But Kyle bursts in, shouting and grabbing her by the collar, demanding to know why she hadn't bought him lunch yet. Scarlet calmly says she was about to, but that only enrages him more. He drags her away for punishment. Her friends try to intervene, but Kyle's followers block them. Now here's the kicker. Kyle's anger wasn't about food. He was just bitter because Scarlet was placed in the special curriculum, while he was demoted to common.so. Naturally, he decides to pull out a knife and threaten to cut Scarlet's silver hair as a trophy. Scarlet warns him not to, or she'll tell her father and have the engagement nullified. Kyle mocks her father, calling him a royal lapdog. That's when Scarlet's fist starts twitching again. But before she can punch him, a voice interrupts. From a nearby tree, a lazy but sharp voice says, "Take your lover's quarrel somewhere else." It's Julius von Poliston, the first prince. He jumps down, teasing Kyle for his behavior. Julius apologizes to Scarlet on behalf of his idiot brother, but Scarlet shrugs it off. She's used to it. Still, Julius confronts Kyle for bullying her. Kyle denies everything and even tries to order his retainer to attack Julius, but the man refuses, reminding him you can't lay hands on royalty. Humiliated, Kyle storms off, muttering threats. Scarlet thanks Julius, but he smiles and says, "Did I save you or him?" When she looks confused, he changes the subject, saying he was only up in the tree to escape his sycophants. Turns out the kingdom's in chaos. The noble faction wants to crown Kyle, while the true heir Julius is too strict for their liking. Julius says he doesn't mind being isolated, not when he's found something interesting. Cue dramatic wind, hair flutter, and Scarlet's deadpan expression. Yeah, she's not falling for it. The next day, the Academy posts aptitude test results. Julius ranks first, perfect scores across every subject. Scarlet? A bunch of 99s. Even when she outperforms her instructors. They call her sloppy. Julius strolls over, smirking, and whispers that getting a perfect score was easy. Scarlet's pride takes a massive hit, and she swears revenge through hard work. Cue montage of midnight training. Sweat, sword swings, and explosion magic. Soon, she retakes the top spot and beams with pride. Julius congratulates her, patting her head, saying he enjoyed watching her secret training. Her friends tease her, but Scarlet insists they're not close. The next morning, she ignores Julius completely. At lunch, again. After school? Yep, still ignoring him. Julius keeps showing up by coincidence, claiming he likes watching the icy rose make faces. Scarlet's not sure whether to be flattered or alarmed. Then, he asks if Kyle's still bothering her. When she says no, Julius casually brushes her silver hair and admits he's glad she didn't lose it. Then he whips out a wildlife notebook, and Scarlet's listed inside as an animal, and before she can react, he proposes engagement. Scarlet gives him a death glare so cold it could freeze lava. All those years of humiliation, frustration, and romantic chaos boil down to this moment, the night of the ball. Terranetza's fake tears, Kyle's arrogance, the noble's mockery. It all piles up, and so Scarlet snaps. She punches Terranetza into next week, silencing the ballroom. Kyle lunges at her, but when Scarlet glares, he freezes, literally falls to the floor in fear. Now, she's had enough. She puts on her gloves and tells the nobles to brace themselves. The nobles panic, calling for guards, but Scarlet knocks them out with a sleep spell. Seeing her magic, the nobles start begging. One offers his daughter in marriage, another his slaves, another his wife. Scarlet is utterly disgusted. If they can sell others to save themselves, then maybe they deserve a good thrashing. And so she delivers. Bam. Thud. Crash. Nobles fly like bowling pins. Someone in the crowd remembers her old nickname, the Mad Dog Noblewoman. And tonight, she earns it back. After flooring half the nobility, Scarlet turns to Kyle, who's trembling on the floor. Just as she's about to land the finishing blow, her brother Leonardo rushes in, yelling for her to stop. But too late. Kyle's already airborne. From behind Leonardo, Julius appears, laughing softly at the scene. Scarlet, chest heaving, looks up and smiles for the first time in years, finally free of her rage. And that's how the so-called villainess became a legend. Not through scheming, not through tears, but through a righteous, well-deserved punch. That Scarlet feels a wave of relief seeing both the prince and the corrupted nobles lying on the floor. But that relief fades fast when she spots her brother panicking and the prince laughing like it's comedy night. Julius steps in, demanding an explanation. Why did she do it? Scarlet crosses her arms and calmly states that all the nobles present were knee-deep in crime, and instead of showing remorse, they bragged about it. So, she decided to educate them with her fists. When Julius asks for the real reason, she admits flatly, "They annoyed me, so I beat them up." Julius grumbles that it's unfair. He didn't even get to see the brawl live. Meanwhile, poor Leonardo is losing it. The decade-long peace is over, chaos is back, and he's stuck wondering how to break the news to their parents. Before he can spiral further, Scarlet's vision blurs, her strength drains, and she collapses on the spot. Days later, she's mumbling about hearing church bells and remembering Governor Cronoa's blessing. When Scarlet finally opens her eyes, she's greeted, not by flowers, but by an assassin with a dagger aimed at her face. Startled, she does what she does best, punches the assassin clear across the room. Hearing the noise, Leonardo rushes in, sighs at the sight, and mutters something about trouble as soon as she wakes up. Still, he grabs her hand, relieved she's alive. Scarlet apologizes for worrying him, but when he asks her to promise not to hit anyone again, she immediately rejects it. That's when Julius struts in, calling her Sleeping Beauty. He informs her that the royal family officially recognized the annulment of her engagement with Kyle. And Kyle's been disinherited too. Scarlet asks about her punishment, but Julius grins and says there won't be one. In fact, she's become a national sensation. Apparently, she's now hailed as a heroine, the bloody princess who delivered justice with her fists. Leonardo panics again, relieved the mad dog Noblewoman nickname is gone, only to realize she's got an even scarier one now. Julius goes on to reveal that the one who united all the corrupted nobles under Kyle was none other than the Prime Minister, Godwin Bene Carmine. Leonardo adds that someone's been helping the nobles behind the scenes, and they plan to crush the entire faction in one strike. To stop Scarlet from refusing, Julius plays the guilt card, saying she's been nothing but trouble for her poor brother. But Scarlet fires back that it's his fault her brother's always tired since Julius works him to the bone. Leonardo quietly mutters that both of them are the problem. Julius then reveals they've already placed a spy within the second prince's faction. He summons the spy, who turns out to be Sigurd Forgave, Kyle's former retainer. Sigurd bows deeply and apologizes to Scarlet. She smirks, teasing him for his perfect acting and loyalty to Kyle. Julius, being Julius, suggests she vent her resentment with a single punch. Scarlet doesn't hesitate. She swings, but misses on purpose. Seeing his resolve, she pats his cheek and forgives him for protecting her despite being under Kyle's command. Sigurd thanks her, visibly relieved. Later, Scarlet wanders off, deep in thought, wondering what her friends must think about the ballroom incident and how she'll explain it to them. She also hopes she can finally spend some peaceful time with them. But that peace ends fast when she heads to a warehouse to confront the maid assassin. When she gets there, she finds only a discarded maid uniform. Suddenly, a dog lunges at her. Instinctively, she flips it over and pins it down. Turns out, the maid was actually a beastkin named Nanica. Scarlet sighs, asking the dog to drop the act and return to human form. Cornered, Nanica transforms, and surprise, she is actually a he. He grabs a knife to finish the job, but Scarlet notices the slave crest on his body, forcing absolute obedience. She offers him a deal. She'll free him from the crest if he tells her who ordered the hit. Nanica agrees, if she can actually do it. Scarlet then tackles him and activates her blessing, reverse. She explains that every human is born with a god's blessing, but only a few can awaken and channel it. Her blessing comes from Cronoa, the god of time. She uses it to revert Nanica's body to its original state, a terrifying ability that even the royal family wants to keep under their control. The downside? It drains her life force. That's why she fainted at the ball. Nanica, awestruck, can't believe such power exists. Scarlet warns him to keep quiet, or else he will get punched. Nanica, grateful and honest, promises to protect her secret, saying beastkin always repay kindness. He then reveals the shocking truth. His master was none other than the Prime Minister, Godwin Bene Carmine, the same man who united the corrupted nobles. He ordered Nanica to assassinate her as revenge for punching his son at the ball. But the real mission wasn't to kill her. It was to spy on the Duke's family. According to Nanica, Godwin uses slaves to infiltrate noble houses, blackmailing them into obedience. Scarlet clenches her fist, furious, and declares she's going to punch Godwin personally. Nanica desperately tries to talk her out of it, suggesting she leave it to her brother and Julius. But Scarlet refuses. If she's going to be a lady, then she'll handle it with her fists. Nanica finally tells her that Godwin visits a slave auction once a month, and one's coming up in a week. He asks her to take him along since he can blend in with the traders. Scarlet agrees. What she doesn't realize, though, is that Julius has been eavesdropping the whole time. 3 days later, Scarlet and Nanica make it to the slums. Scarlet immediately gets scammed into buying a rock for a gold coin, thinking it's mithril ore. Before she can explode, she senses something off and calls out Julius, who casually admits he followed her because he doesn't want to miss her roasting the entire slave auction. He also adds that he wants to see the kingdom's darker side firsthand before becoming king. then admits the real reason. He just wants to watch the chaos unfold. Suddenly, some thugs appear, and Scarlet's eyes light up like a kid on her birthday, ready to fight. But Nanica holds her back, suggesting they talk first. Nanica politely asks the thugs if they know a broker named Junk, offering a reward. But they refuse, mocking her for being the lady who paid gold for a rock. To make it worse, they beat up the kid and steal his coin. That's when Scarlet snaps. She crushes the rock in her hand and throws it at them, activates physical enhancement and acceleration, and charges straight in. Her first punch sends one thug flying. The second one's bones crack under her strike. She kicks the third so hard he flies off toward sky. When one of the thugs recognizes her, the cold eyes, the short temper, he realizes who she is. The Fist Princess, the nickname she has in the slums. Scarlet thanks him for remembering, then knocks him out anyway. Julius strolls up, teasing her that her face looks unsatisfied, like she didn't punch enough people. Scarlet glares at him, clearly tempted to fix that. Julius then says he'll handle the next part since Nanica's identity might blow their cover. A while later, Julius finds and interrogates the broker, Junk, and easily extracts the name and location of the traitor. When Scarlet asks how he managed that so fast, Julius proudly admits he just lied, said he knew Junk's crimes and could jail him for life. Scarlet praises his talent for deceit. Julius smirks and warns her not to underestimate him. The group then gathers to discuss how to infiltrate the upcoming slave auction. That's when Nanica, thinking hard, proposes a rather unexpected idea. Wraps up today's recap. What do you think about this episode? Drop your thought in the comment. And if you liked this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss the next one.